Hello, my name is Stan and I'm CEO of Tability. So this video is going to be focused really on the onboarding, the setup of the platform. My goal here is to keep it as short and productive as possible. And it assumes that you probably had a demo with someone on our team, or you looked at our website, or you've gone through the trial and you know that you want to use Tability. And this is going to be really focused on how can you set up your workspace in the best way possible so that you can roll it out with your team. Okay, so some of the topics we're going to cover are here. So number one, I'm going to show you how you can invite your team, understanding the difference between fully licensed users and read-only users. Now, another super important point, how to organize your workspace when you have multiple layers of OKRs organized by teams and department, or yearly versus quarterly OKRs. Then this is like a quick way for you to add goals. If you already have goals today, you can import them from a spreadsheet. We're going to look at this. We're also going to look at what it feels like if you want to write your OKRs from scratch, right? You want to stay in the editor, you want to do everything yourself. We'll talk about reporting and stakeholders, how you link OKRs across your workspace so that you can have like cascading views that you probably saw if you took a look at our product or if you had a demo with us. And then to finish, cleaning up, how we have sample data that ships with every workspace that is created. You'll have to remove that before you get started with your team to make sure that they have like a clean slate. And then we'll look at the org chart and how the different integration can help you reduce the tool fatigue. So this might be in itself, quite a thorough video. So I'll try to really like focus on an approach that goes chapter to chapter, and you should be able to skip forward to the parts that are interesting you. Okay, so let me get started. I'll just move this to a different screen so that I can keep an eye on my agenda, and we should start. So this is a Tability workspace. Everything is organized in plans. But before that, I need to talk to you about this part here. So the People tab. So this here, you can see that there's already a lot of activity. And as you start to use Tability with your team, you'll be able to see like the progress leaders, like people that have also made the most progress around the task. And those check-in streak is basically here to help encourage people to do the check-ins and complete, share progress on the OKRs on time. But so how do you invite your team? It's quite simple. Come to this page here and then click on that invite your team section. Now, there's a few things you can do. You can share that invitation link. You can invite individual users as well by just adding the emails here. So I could invite my Gmail account like this, .com. So just make sure you click outside of that box so that it recognizes the email, and then you can click on invite. And then you can see here that there's a second form to invite read-only users. So what's the difference between individual users and what I would call fully licensed users and read-only users? So if you use Tability Premium, so for each premium premium user license that you purchase, we are going to give you 2 read-only users. And so what a read-only user can do, they can come to your workspace, they will be able to click around, they will be able to look at the plans and look at the progress and the reports. And they will be able to to leave comments and to use the reactions here. The things that they cannot do, they cannot create check-ins, they cannot update the tasks that you see here. But so the read-only accounts, they're very convenient if you want to give visibility on your OKRs to people in your org that don't necessarily have to update the OKRs themselves or to work on the task, but you still want to make them part of the platform. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is invite your team. And so in order to do that, go to this page, click on the invite button, and then either you can share that invitation link. This is going to invite only fully licensed users, or you can use these 2 forms to invite the people that should be part of your workspace with you. In at a later stage, I will talk about how you can set up SSO and SCIM, which are ways for you to basically manage all the users with your identity provider. Okay, so that's part one. So make sure that people are invited. And this is going to be important because as you start adding goals, your OKRs to Tability, you will want to assign these OKRs and the task to users to make sure that someone is going to be in charge of updating progress. Okay, so that's part one. Now let's talk about the plans. So the one thing that I want to talk about is like, what is the general approach of Tability? So in Tability, things are organized in plans, and a plan is a container for your OKRs. So you can see here, I have like an annual plan at the top, and then I have like for each quarter, this is like 2024 Q4, I have a hierarchy of plan here. Sorry, a hierarchy of plan here. So I have my company OKRs and my marketing OKRs, etc. for Q4. And then for Q1, I created the same. I'm just gonna hide this. And so you can see that I have like my company OKRs Q1, and then the teams or the departments and the teams, they will create their subplans underneath. This is our recommended approach. So you can pretty much do anything you want with Tability. You could have named this a different way, but if you want to take an approach that is, our recommendation and the thing that we recommend to companies, it would be this. It would be number one, it's like to name your plan with the name of a department of team, then the year and quarter. And that's going to help people find these things really quickly through the app using the search. And it's also a simple way for you to just organize the data. The other advantage of this is that as a product team, I would probably, most of the quarter, I would care about my goals. And so the advantage of organizing things like this is that I can click on this plan here, and I'm going to see my product dashboard where I can see the OKRs for the product team. And then if I scroll through, the reason why you want to have things in the hierarchy is because that mini map here will show me my product OKRs, and then the sub product teams that we created are just here as well. Okay. So now how do you create this? So basically, if you wanted to create, let's say that you wanted to create a top level goals for a new quarter, what you would do, let me close this. So if I wanted to create my Q2 OKRs, what I would do for the company OKRs at the top, I would hit create a new plan, goals and initiative, and then I would do company OKRs Q2 2025. Then I would pick next quarter. And this here is how often Tability should remind people, the OKRs owners, that they need to share progress. And so for quarterly OKRs, I would recommend you to do that on a weekly basis. And then I hit create. I'm going to be taken to the editor here, but I'm just going to keep this as draft for now. Okay. So now you can see that I have my Q2 OKRs that have been created here. Now, if I wanted to create a sub-plan for a specific, for instance here, I want to add like engineering OKRs, I would hover over this line, go to the sub-plan, click here, goal and initiative, and then I would say engineering OKRs, and here we're still in Q1 2025. And I would keep this to this quarter, create my plan. Right, so now I'm in that editor again. All right, let me go back here. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can create like top level OKRs and then sub level OKR plans. Now, when it comes down to the yearly OKRs that you see here, once again, my recommendation, it's a preference that you could put this quarter under this company OKRs. The advantage of keeping the annual OKRs at the top line and having the quarters here is that during the quarter, you will look at this plan a lot, and it's quite convenient to have them accessible at the top level. And it doesn't matter if you want to link things later, you will still be able to pick the company, the annual OKRs as well. So now to create an annual plan or to create a plan that is not a quarter, that has a different timeline, when you hit create plan here, you can go to that custom option. And from here, you can basically choose different dates, right? I can say this will start on the 1st of January and this will finish on the 31st of December. Okay, so let me just maybe clean that up a little bit so that we can, because this is the important part. I really want to make sure that this is well understood, and having plans that are in draft is not very helpful. So here's the approach. So if you have annual plan and quarterly plan, my recommendation is to keep an annual plan at the top, and then to keep, like, for each quarter, you're going to create a hierarchy of OKRs that is like this, right? And so now when it comes down to the team and department OKRs, have like the top level OKRs here at the top, then use the sub plan by clicking on this button to create to create the sub plans here. And then you can keep on doing that over and over if you have like department, teams, sub teams, etc. I do not recommend if you're new to OKRs to go all the way down to individual OKRs. I'm not really going to explain too much here. Like, we have some literature that you can read about why this is important, but it's really, if you want to keep things simple and just by focusing on the teams, like, it's much easier for people to understand that this is about the business and the customers. Whereas if you go down to individual OKRs, sometimes it can be a little bit hard for people to make a distinction between goals that are here to help the customers and the business and goals that are here for themselves to develop as individual, right? So that's the thing. So that's a naming convention that I want to use here. Sorry for taking so much time on this topic, but that's really the topic that is, I think, the most critical, because everything else is pretty easy. And it's just that because it's so flexible and you can create your plans however you want, you have to make that decision of how you want to structure your data. Just one thing before I finish here. The other advantage of having this company OKRs like this, and the company OKRs, the annual OKRs and the quarter in the same view, is that if you then go to the strategy map here, this will show you all the plans that are currently in progress. I'm going to be able to look at the annual OKRs and the company OKRs side by side, like the currently active OKRs. And this view only shows you the data that is currently in progress, right? So this will always be visible during the year, and the Q1 OKRs, because we're in Q1, are visible. When it will be Q2, the strategy map will update itself, and then we'll show you the Q2 goals next to the annual OKRs. All right. So that's for the organization in the data. Now let's take a look at at how you can populate your plan. So here you can see this here, this plan basically does not have any goals. So the first thing you want to do, and so when you create a plan, you're going to be taken to that editor, and this editor is basically a place where we're going to remove all the things that are not necessary, that are distraction, and help you focus on just what is the content of your plan. So you can type things from scratch. I'll show you that in a second. But the easiest, if you already have a set of OKRs in a spreadsheet, you can export that spreadsheet to CSV, and you can use that magic import to import your goals at once. So what it looks like, I'm going to click here on use magic import. Okay, so I need to click on that browse button, and then I need to pick up my CSV file. So the format of the CSV file, that magic import is pretty magic. It's not going to care too much. Like, we don't have it doesn't have to be a specific format that is proprietary to us. Here you can see the example. There is a column for the objectives, a column for the key result, and the related initiatives here. And that's enough for the platform to understand what the OKRs are. So what I can do, I can just click open import, and then it's going to think for a couple of seconds, but it's going to then add all the objectives, the key results, and the initiatives at once. So this is going to save you a lot of time because instead of having to create everything one by one or to go, it's like you can easily have like 15 to 20 OKRs in the plan, and that would be very painful if you had to go through 15 or 20 forms to add your goals. So you can do this quickly. So now what's left for me to do is to update the targets and to update the owners. So just to give you an example, so if I see here, reduce customer acquisition cost by 15%. So you can see that when goals are added to Tability, the default target is to go from 0 to 100%, because that's pretty much something universal that cannot be applied to anything. But we will encourage you to indicate what your real metrics are. So in this case, if I knew what, for instance, let's say that my target is 850 CAC, and we're starting at $1,000, that will be what, basically that's the thing that we will encourage you to add into Tability, because it's going to make the tracking much easier. So I'm going to save this. And so now you can see that this target now reflects exactly what we're trying to do. And I could keep on doing this. And you can see that I have different kinds of targets, right? I have like from X to Y, stay above X, stay below. In this case, we want to maintain Net Promoter Score above 60. So what I would do, I would say stay above NPS 60, right? And so I would just adjust that. It can go from minus 100 to 100. Okay, so that's the thing that you have to do. You just click on this target field, indicate what your MR is and the target and where you're starting at. And the second thing, and this is why you need to have invited your team to begin with, just click on the different people and assign it to the right persons, right? It's as simple as this. If you don't find someone in you can search for users basically. Well, I'm going to search for my name, but you will be able to find the different people using the search field. Okay, so that's it for the using the magic import. It's going to be super convenient for you and super quick for your team, because we're not going to have to learn how all of this works, although it's pretty easy. But it's always like a thing for us. If we can provide an experience that feels familiar to your users, then this is what we're going to do. Okay, so now let me show you what it looks like if I wanted to write things from scratch, right? So I would click add a new objective. And so what was important for us was to make sure that we would be able to give to people an experience that feels like writing a doc, as opposed to an experience that feels like having to fill a complete form for every single objective, key result, or initiative that you add. So let's say that here, one of my objectives is to improve application performance. I can just type, enter tab. Now I can say we want to reduce page load from 4 seconds to 1 second, and then enter tab, and I can start adding my initiatives. And here I can say implement the new caching system. So one thing that you might have noticed is that here on the right, there's a spinner that happened, and it's because Tability, when you write your goal, it tries to detect what the metric is, and it tries to update it for you, right? So if I said, for instance, increase releases from 1 per week to 4 per week, you will see that it basically scans this and then tries to extract what are we trying to do. Now, if I wanted to update this, because I don't think that, for instance, the format is correct, or I want it to be more specific, right? I could say I wanted to make sure that people understand we're talking about releases. Then I can just click on the target field and update the content. This is also where you can have access to the advanced features like the description, the weight. You can connect your key result back to data sources as well and use the check-ins API. Okay, so this here, that's me adding the content of the plan. Once you're happy with your plan, just click on back to plan dashboard and you're now back into the tracking mode. All right, so now we've looked at how you can import your goals. We've looked at how you can write OKRs from scratch. Let me talk about notification and how can we make sure that the right people are going to be informed. So if I'm, let's take more like this example here where I'm part of a product team. And I want to make sure that I'm a product manager, but I want to make sure the VP of product is going to be notified when we update progress on a key result. So what I can do is simply add them to the list of watchers. And so I'm going to click here. I'm going to click add watchers, find the right person, and then that's it. Now that they're added as a watcher of a plan, anytime someone on the team is going to update progress on this, they're going to receive like a nice just digest in their email of what that update was. And we are going to batch those notifications every 20 minutes to make sure that this is not going to become a really source of noise, right? So if people come into Monday morning and they do a bunch of updates together, then all of this is going to be condensed into just one email. So that's the stakeholders. Now I want to talk a bit about alignment and cascading, the cascading of information. So as you saw here, there's this strategy map that basically helps you see your company OKRs, and then you can compare it to the marketing product OKRs. You can keep on expanding things to see the rest of the plans. So this is a really convenient way for you to have like a macro representation of everything that is going on. So I can scan the product team and see if they're doing good. I can look here and look at the content of my sales goals. But quite often you'll have things like this, like for instance, like increasing the average deal size. We want to indicate that this will have like direct impact on the quarterly revenue. This is something that you can use, do simply by creating relationships between items. So if I click here on this key result, I'm going to open up its panel. And now let me just close this. If you look at that relationship widget here, you can see that there's already an existing relationship that says that this key result contributes to that quarterly goal here. And so for you to add relationships, it's very simple. You click on that add relationship. And if you pick a parent versus a parent key result, it's going to pre-select the company OKRs, the parent plan in that hierarchy. And then all you need to do is to find the right key result and attach it. Now, what does this do? Here it doesn't look like much, but if I scroll down to my, I'm going to find another mini map, but that's for this specific key result. And that means if I go full screen, that in that same view, I can look at that sales goal and I can see what it's contributing to. And if you had goals underneath, like I would be able to see like also all the key results that are contributing to this one. To show you this in a better way, let me go to my company OKRs, right? So I'm going to pick this goal again. And here you can see that this one has multiple dependencies. So there's the one that we're looking at, but there's also an increased SQL and improved pilot to paid conversions. So now if I scroll to the bottom, this is a full picture where I can see that for this particular key result, there's like 3 things that are currently happening. Okay, so another way for you to see those dependencies of these relationships is actually if you are in that plan view, in the plan dashboard, you can expand the different items and then you will be able to see the list of initiatives, but you will also be able to see right before that the different key results that have been aligned. And this can be done, it's going to be done here as well. And then I can keep on expanding things to see, for that product OKR goal, what are the initiatives that are currently in progress. So in Tability, what's important for us is to make sure that you have the right context when you look at things. So let me maybe give you like a situation that is going to be quite common. If I go to the filters is basically a view that helps you see everything that is happening in your workspace. And then you can filter things by, for instance, I can say, show me just all the things that are off track. And then you can save these as segments, right? And so that you can load it in a much faster way. And so in my case, I have like a revenue ops risk filter segment here. And if I load it, it's going to show me something like this, right? And now I can see like, okay, so there's something here that is red. And if I click on it, I want to have the full context. So first of all, I'm going to be able to see that progress chart, and I'm going to be able to see the latest check-in. If I scroll down, I can see the work that is being done against that key result. And those dots that are here on the chart, it's basically when those things were completed. And so that can help me interpret like what is happening here, or, if I see some discrepancies, like I will be able to match, the outcomes and the output together. But if I need to understand like what this contributes to, this is where the relationships become interesting, because I'm not in that company OKR plan, but I can see that it's contributing, if I scroll down, it's contributing, this goal is contributing to something that belongs to the company OKRs. And so now, I can see also who owns that, and it's going to facilitate conversations in the company. Okay, so that's for linking items and the importance of relationships. So what do we want to do now? Let's say that we're almost ready. This is my sample data that I used. I'm actually not going to remove it now, but you have to remove this when you're about to invite your team. So if you want to remove that sample data, it's really simple. Go to that plan sections where we are, and then click on this button that is here. And then that will just delete all the sample users, the sample objective, sample plans, and then you'll have like a clean workspace. I'm just going to keep it for the rest of the video because it helps me show you like how to set things up. But yeah, just make sure you click on that remove sample data before you start rolling this out to more people. Okay, so one more thing that is quite important to show you here, and it's how you can have a view that is not organized by plan, but more organized by people. And so let me explain that. So a common question for managers is going to be, I have my reports that can be spread across multiple plans, or even individuals that, they have like some OKRs that they own at the product level, and then in the sub-team level as well. And it's important to be able to see how these people are doing without having to click into like 12 different parts of the platform. So that's something you can do using the filters, where you can filter here and say, I want to see everything, for instance, that is attached to Stan. That's me. But another thing that you can do is actually to set up your org network in your focus page, and that's much easier. So if I go to my focus page, this is a place where I can see here all the key results that I own, my task. But if I scroll down to the bottom, I can see my org chart. And so if I here click on update your network, you can see that I can select my manager and I can select my direct reports. And once I've picked these people, they're going to appear here in the map. So let me go full screen here. They're going to appear in a map where I can see all the people that are closest to me. And then I can click on that show data button to be able to see all the goals that they have and the tasks that they currently they're working on. So that becomes a really practical view for me to be able to get all that context, which is like more like a people-centric context without having to navigate through all the different parts of the app. So once again, if you want to set this up, so you can just set up your own network. That is going to affect, the people that you're, if I've set myself as a Mark's manager, from Mark's perspective, they're going to see me as a manager as well. So they don't have to update that network as well. So you do it once and then it's affecting everyone. But so come to your focus page, come here, click on that update network button, and update your manager, update basically the people that you're connected to. Now, another thing that I want to mention here is that if you want to look at the status of someone that is not connected to you directly, just go to the People tab, find the right person, and then you'll be able to, from their profile, to see the key result that they own, their work, and same thing, you'll be able to see that the own minimap. Like here, Brian doesn't have anyone, but it's a simple way for you to be able to basically have a people-centric approach to tracking goals. Okay, so the last thing to show you are the different integrations that can help you minimize tool fatigue. So if you go to the admin section, so the first thing that you might want to look at is that SSO provisioning. So what you will be able to do here is to set up your identity provider so that people don't have to remember another set of credentials. They will be able to, if they're logged in using your identity provider, they will have access to Tability. And you can also automate provisioning by setting up SEIM. Another thing that you want to look at is the set of integrations that we have here. So first, I'm going to talk about the chat integration, so we can connect Tability to Slack to automate reminders and also make sure that you can send Progress Digest into Slack channels. And it's not listed here. We're going to add it to the list here, but you'll find the docs. You can also add Tability to Microsoft Teams, and this integration is also great because it will sign in the user that is connected automatically. So if that user is connected to Microsoft Teams, they won't need to remember another set of password. It's going to behave just like any of the apps that you can find on the side here. And so that's really like a smooth and amazing integration because they will have access to all the features of Tability right from as soon as they click on that tab here. Okay, so all the types of integration that you're going to find. So you can connect Tability to a project management tool. And the goal for us is to make it as easy as possible for you to get the right context. So let me show you an example of what it means. If I go to the product OKRs here, I'm quite sure that if I open up this one, you're going to see that here, those tasks are managed by Tability. And here you have like a Jira issue, a Jira ticket, a ClickUp ticket here. I've done that multiple times. That's because of my demos. But basically, you just need to add like one task once. And what Tability is going to do is going to use your project management tool as a source of truth, and we're going to keep the status in sync. And the reason why it's important is because when you see something like this, right, you have a goal, but what is super important is to make sure that we understand what the team is doing to achieve set goals. And this is going to be possible thanks to this integration. The last thing that will help you in terms of integration of the data connectors. So the metrics that we track here, quite often they come from an external tool. And so when you create a check-in, what's going to happen is like we will have to like open up another browser window, sign into a tool, etc., to get that metric and report that maybe today we're at 12%, and then now we can write the analysis. So you can automate a lot of that by connecting each key result to the right data source. So if I click on this button, it's going to take me to a data source tab. And from here, I can select, you'll find a bunch of different tools that you can connect it to, from BigQuery, ClickUp, HubSpot, Salesforce, Power BI. And so once you have connected the tool to the data source, I'm not sure if I can, let me find something that might work. So if I take Monday and tickets in the group title, right? So I think I probably have one ticket. Okay, so this is how it works, right? So it's just looking at the number of issues in the board. But now what it means is like when I come to do my check-in, that number has been picked straight from Monday. So I didn't have to log into Monday. I will just get the metric and I can focus on writing my analysis. All right. So in this case, the chart is a bit skewed because that's not the right value that we're expecting, but that's going to be extremely convenient. And also you can also enable the progress sync, and then on a daily basis, the platform is going to record a value for you. There won't be any interpretation of what that value means. So make sure you still come, to look at your graphs and try to write a meaningful check-in. But yeah, this is going to save you a lot of time. All right, so that's it for the setup of Tability. You will find a document that is going to give you like a written version of all of this. Thanks for staying with me for the length of this onboarding video. I know that it was a little bit long, but I hope that you managed to skip to the sections that were interesting for you. And if you have any questions, please reach out to our team. You can use that intercom pop-up that is here, and then talk to us, and we'll respond really in a timely manner. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.